Thank you very much for this opportunity to share. Before I start with the sharing, I have PowerPoint, but now we are going to watch a video on 21st August. I received a Sarah DeMillo Award in the United Nations. So about many countries, some said over 100 countries were present. And then they choose me. It's a 2 years award, so they choose me to get that award in 2017. I was working, serving my people. I did not deserve any award, but then I was surprised to hear. So we are going to watch video, 4 minutes video, which was placed in the United Nations before my speech and the award. Thank you.
When people are hurting, Dr. Rebecca Dali shows up. When they need training to rebuild their lives, she's there. When people in towns threatened by the terror group Boko Haram need encouragement and supplies to plant crops to make a living, she brings hope for the future. Dr. Rebecca Dali has become one of the primary partners in helping rebuild the lives of her fellow Nigerians, devastated by the destruction caused by the Islamic terror group Boko Haram.
Most of our houses are destroyed and some have nowhere to sleep. So some they run back to the cities, some they stay but in very, very difficult condition. No food, nothing. Houses were destroyed and the need is so great.
The crisis in Nigeria has forced hundreds of thousands of people from their homes and cost many their lives. In relocation centers, refugee camps, places where people have fled, Rebecca organized the distribution of badly needed food and household supplies. Her organization, the Center for Caring, Empowerment, and Peace Initiative, known as CEPI, worked with partners all over the world, including the Church of the Brethren in the United States, to provide food and supplies, often at great risk to her safety.
Oh. Can't play.
Let's see. We'll get there.
When people are hurting, Dr. Rebecca Dali shows up. When they need training to rebuild their lives, she's there. When people in towns threatened by the terror group Boko Haram need encouragement and supplies to plant crops to make a living, she brings hope for the future. Dr. Rebecca Dali has become one of the primary partners in helping rebuild the lives of her fellow Nigerians, devastated by the destruction caused by the Islamic terror group Boko Haram.
Most of our houses are destroyed and some have nowhere to sleep. So some they run back to the cities, some they stay but in very, very difficult condition. No food, nothing. Houses were destroyed and the need is so great.
The crisis in Nigeria has forced hundreds of thousands of people from their homes and cost many their lives. In relocation centers, refugee camps, places where people have fled, Rebecca organized the distribution of badly needed food and household supplies. Her organization, the Center for Caring, Empowerment, and Peace Initiative, known as CEPI, worked with partners all over the world, including the Church of the Brethren in the United States, to provide food and supplies, often at great risk to her safety, to the most vulnerable, both Muslim and Christian, including many widows and orphans. In addition to the Church of the Brethren, partners include Christian Aid Ministries for home repair, food and supply distributions, the International Rescue Committee, which has helped with food distributions and food voucher programs, and gender-based violence and malnutrition monitoring, and the United Nations High Commission on Refugees, which has helped with distribution of non-food items, protection monitoring, camp coordination support, and other organizations.
With the present distribution, the organization and Tiny House reached out to over 100,000 displaced persons in Jos, Chibok, Yola, and Uba. Distributing the items to the displaced persons, the Executive Director Center for Caring, Empowerment, and Peace Initiative, Dr. Rebecca Samuel Dali, said the burden of the displaced persons should not be left to government alone, considering the challenges faced by the government.
But Rebecca does more than provide immediate relief. CEPI works at long-term solutions to the issues faced by the victims of Boko Haram, with a series of skills acquisition centers that teach skills to widows and orphans and provide each participant with the materials to start their own business.
Some are already in their villages. Before they couldn't go because they have nothing to do at home. And some of them, their houses have been burned and nothing. But with the empowerment, they are now back into their community and then doing the things that they love.
Through her organization, Rebecca has also provided trauma healing, housing repairs, education for orphans, livestock for widows, and moral support for those in need. Her boundless energy and tireless work alongside her staff have reflected her faith and the practices of her church, Ecclesia Yanawa Nigeria, the Church of the Brethren in Nigeria, which places a strong emphasis on not just preaching the Word of God, but living it out through meeting people's needs in Christ's name. The list of places where she and CEPI have conducted food distributions is enormous. The graduates of the Skills Acquisition Centers have had life-changing experiences as they learn a skill and rebuild their lives after the tragedy of death and destruction that unfolded among their families.
Most of them, they saw how their husband was slaughtered and how their parents were killed. So we teach them handcrafts, sewing, knitting, and how to make liquid soap, and a lot of things. So they are making it and they are selling it, and they are gaining small money. And we'll give them sewing machine and some seed money, like $100 so that they will go and start their own life again.
Her church partners, those whose lives she has touched through her efforts, consider it a privilege to walk alongside her as she serves her fellow countrymen and women during these challenging times.
So this is some of the work that CEPI is doing, but we have more, so we are going to see some of the work that we do. Now it's time for, and I'm not seeing it. Did I supposed to see it or?
Come down. We can do this.
Okay, yes. It's better.
And then
Thank you.
this will pick you up from all over the place, so don't feel like you have to stay too attached here.
Okay. So, as he said, there were a lot of displaced people, more than, some said 7 million, and but then averagely 3-point-something million. And numerous of those are Church of the Brethren, because we live in the Northeast. So this is where Boko Haram predominant. This area is Maiduguri area, and the northeast where EYN living. Although this map is from 2015, but you can see how the area were heavily affected. And this is territory of EYN territory in Nigeria. And a lot of local government, they were dominated by Boko Haram. But then when President Buhari became president, he pushed them away, and now people are back and they are rebuilding their lives again. But the life is still very difficult. And in some area in Maiduguri, they cannot even go. Even part of Gwaza local government, where EYN are many, that place is still occupied by Boko Haram. Oh. Sorry. Maybe. Okay. Maybe you can just control it over there. If I say like this, then. Okay. So, what is the motivation of forming the organization? It is basically there, but in summary, is my history. I grew up under very hard condition when I was a child, and my parents are from poorest of the poor, and we suffer. So that is why in 1989, when I became a housewife, although I married since like 10 years ago, then we discussed with my husband, and then I formed the organization. So there are a lot of motivation and my research and my personal background. So the organization, as I said, it was in 1989, but then I registered with the government in 2011 to become non-profit so that we can connect with partners. And also, why is to serve the most vulnerable people, orphans, widows, and people who are sick and all this. So irrespective of religion, and then either religion or culture, we serve everyone who is in need. And when I came to US, with the money that the UN gave me, I came here and I asked some people, Pam Riggs, Jeff, and David, and some other, and they agreed and they become board of directors. So we formed CEPI here in the US, and the aim is to get funds from here, but when we get it, we can send it to Nigeria and then to Africa to help aid a lot of people. But then here, we are going to serve some people too who are sick, who are displaced, who are refugees, and the poorest of the poor, starting from here. We are waiting for our tax exemption, but we register it since March 20th, 2018. And what are we doing? We profile the widows, the orphans, and we assess their situation to know what type of aid we are going to give them. And from there, we receive their stories and what they are going through. This one is Dali. He's no more working with us. We seconded him to Christian AIDS ministry, but he was working with us. He was surrounded by widows. But then his father and 2 brothers were killed by Boko Haram. Most of our staff, one way or the other, were affected, and they are still affected because we use them to witness to people who are hurt, and they will live by example because they too, they suffer loss. So this woman, she lost a lot of people. Her husband, brother-in-law, and 3 children were taken away by Boko Haram. And then the remaining 1 child, they took it from her and they threw the child in the fire 3 months. So she is left alone. So, and this man, Boko Haram, took his pregnant wife and 4 children, and then they were running after his life. So that is why I met him, and then he was just running to hide because they want to destroy. They have already taken everything, 5 of his people, and they want to kill him again. And this girl, this boy, his whole family were killed, and he's left alone. He was family of 6, and so he's left alone. And he told me, okay, I cannot use it again, but this boy this boy. This boy. So he was telling me how some of the Boko Haram held his hand and they were slaughtering his family members. So he's really traumatized. So this some cannot be identified. After we went back from the captivity, from the places, after military captured the places from Boko Haram, we met all this. It's very, very terrible. What overview of our activities? What are we doing? So we do a lot of things. We distribute food, shelter, and housing. Health services, trauma healing, reintegration of Boko Haram victims back into their community, and the skills, as you saw, agriculture, livelihood, village saving. So water and sanitation, hygiene, and children protection program, women protection program, and several others. So what are the objectives of the food distribution? We distribute food to save lives, because some, they will come out hungry and they don't have food. So we have to save life, we have to promote human dignity, we have to relieve suffering and some of the rest. So this is the sample of our food distribution. Sometimes over 2,000 will come, and sometimes we'll distribute to many, but some will go home without food because we don't have a lot. But like this widow, we profile them, we give them file with their names, so each one that come, they have something to go with it. And so we make them to queue so that everyone will get something. And so after distribution, the load is too heavy, so we ask our volunteers to help them take their loads. And you can see some are from Church of the Brethren here. They went to Nigeria and they helped. So this one, Nigerian government gave us all this. Rice, beans, corn, mattress there, and a lot of host of things. And so when we distribute, this lady, she's taking it to her place. And this man and his wife, they are going with their own. The wife take a heavy thing, but he's only holding mattress. So we discover that Boko Haram, a lot of children, they were abused, they were trained like soldiers, they were trained and being raped, and a lot of horrible things happened to children. So, and some of the children, they are unaccompanied children because they don't know where their parents are. So we go to them and then we distribute some things to them. Now this is shirt and we are distributing to the children, and soap and all this. So these are the unaccompanied children. After we distribute something for them, I'm here and some of my staff. So the children all gather around us and they are happy when they see us in the camp. This is in Burma camp where a lot of people die of malnourished children. And these are some orphans. So we took mattresses and some of the things to them. And we screened children and we found out that some of them are really malnourished. And these are the sample of my malnourished child. And we refer them to hospital to get help. He was very sick together with the mother. So we refer them to hospital. Hunger and sorrow, this woman, she told us that she spent like 2 days without any food. This is her children. So a lot of horrible things happen. And this is still hunger. This man, he was holding his son. He said he has been looking for food in the camp, but nothing. And this boy, by seeing him, he is malnourished. And we profile the physically challenged people. We go to them and then we assess and then we give them something. And women and children who are taken by Boko Haram, we have a lot of records. You have been hearing about the Chibok girls, 270 something, but we have in SEPI record more than 3,000. We receive the names from the people that we were serving. So a lot of them, but some, they were released from the captivity, some by soldiers, some they sneak by themselves, and so we took care of them, we reintegrate them. And some of their families, they rejected them, but we took them. And how do we do it? The family, some few, they accepted them back, but some family, they don't. So some of the victims, we made relationship with them and obtained medical treatment and healing, and then trauma healing, because some, when they come back from the captivity, they cannot even talk. They are very dirty, so we have to build relationship with them before they will open up, and then we will enroll them in our center. So we have people in the community whom we train. So after after we meet with the people who were released, then the people from the community will continue with trauma healing, with taking care of them, and any report that they need something, then they will tell us, then we will go. So the reintegration process is very, very difficult. And we enroll them in our livelihood. Some who came that were pregnant, then we put them there several, and after 9 months, then they will graduate. And then we'll go to the community. Sometimes we'll build houses for them to stay there. Sometimes we'll reconnect them with their families. So these are the sample of those who came from the Boko Haram captivity. This lady, her husband rejected her, and these two, together with the child, and this child is from a child of Boko Haram, because she stayed there for more than 2 years. And we go into camp, and so we met with this lady. She was kidnapped by Boko Haram when she was a girl, but now this child she said she was pregnant with Boko Haram. And this man was explaining to me that the camp, when she was living in a Mafa camp, they were rejecting her and stigma. And they don't want her around because they are afraid that she had the ideology of Boko Haram, so she may be harmful. So we profile her, and I was asking her question, and gradually she would go on process. She went on process of reintegration. And these two, both of them, they have children of Boko Haram. And we met them in Biu camp, and they were quarantined by the military, but we go there and we give them some things. This is Boko Haram baby named after me. And I have several of them, hundreds of them. Because some people, like you read all over the internet, that they rejected the Boko Haram children because they are bad blood and all this. But for me, every human being is human being. And some of the Boko Haram, they were there, they are in bondage. Some, they want to come out and live, but like they are in bondage. So their children are human beings. And so they were taught how to be suicide bombers. But then we reintegrate them. And then this, she was 7 years, and this boy, she was 8 years, he was 8 years, and he told my team how he was taught to be suicide bombers, both of them. But we reintegrated them and we deprogrammed them. And I was talking to you about how the military quarantined some of the women in the camp. So this is Biu camp, and this woman, so we went with some of the items, mattress there, and all this, so we give to her and the baby and some of the other women. So this is how we met with the traditional rulers to lobby on behalf of the people whom who were released, and we want to build house in his village to those women. So this woman, like this, she was rejected by her husband because they were in Boko Haram captivity with two of her other sisters, three of them. So it's very, very hard. And this one is food distribution to widows and parents of the Chibok girls. There are a lot of Chibok girls' parents whom suffer two losses. They lost their husbands, and then their daughters were kidnapped by Boko Haram. So we went there and we served them. And these are volunteers, and they help us to distribute things. And household supplies, because they lost everything. So we have to give pot, we have to give something to them. So these are, the bags are full with basket, pots, soap, solar lamp, etc. And we have poultry and some training. You can see these chicks, about 30 of them. So we train these widows and we give them feed, and then the feeder and drinker and all this. So they get it and they have some meat and they sell some to elevate them economically. And these are goats. We give them he and she goats. And to both, some are orphans, some are widows, some are just desperate. So we give them so that their economic will be strengthened. We give them fertilizer and seedlings and herbicides so that they will help themselves to go back to farm. And we teach them how to saving. This one, SEPI, VSA, Village Savings and Loan Association, so that anything they get, they will save, and then they will give loan among themselves. And some of them, they are really trying. So these are the village savings. So this woman, this one and that one is black, their husband and 3 children were killed. So we went and we gave them rice, egg, and some other relief. These are the sample of the house. Is a 2-room house. So SEPI built 52 houses like this to widows who lost their husband or one or 2 people, children who are killed. So we built this house. These are the sample. This woman and her children, husband and 2 children were killed. This just sample. Boko Haram killed her husband and her son. The same thing. And this woman, this is her daughter-in-law. So they killed her husband and then her son. So we built the house for them. So she and her daughter-in-law, we built a house for them, so they are sharing it. That is why she's very, very excited and holding Glenn, thanking him for the provision of the house, because they were living like in a dilapidated house, but now they have very fine house. So you can see the logo of SEPI and then the logo of Christian AIDS. This woman here, she lost 9 people. Her husband 4 children, her mother and 3 brothers, all were killed. So that is why we built house for her. So Glenn is opening the house so that she can have somewhere to live. So health services, we provide health services to them, drug, so that we can refer people and do simple operation, surgery. So these are the sample medicine provided by the donor agency when we were working with the International Rescue Committee. And this one is sick. The mother died and the child. But when we met her, we tried to refer them, but then it was too late. So both of them died. And this one too. And this one, this is how Boko Haram, they cut the hand of this and the hand of this man. And this woman, her son and husband were killed. And so they punched her. And when we met her, it was too late, so she died. And this is still the medicine. Yes. And this woman, she was, her throat was cut. Her children and her husband and 2 children were killed. They thought that she was dead, but in the mortuary, she was recovered. So then we trained her. She's a tailor, and then we built house for her. This is scarcity of how no water in some part, and this water is the only source in that village. So this one, people and animal share the water. So these two, this one, you can see the protection monitors. They went all around and see. So, and we meet some places that are very dirty. So in our hygiene, we make the people to clean the place, and then sometimes we fix borehole so that they will have water to drink. And trauma healing, we organize trauma healing. This is William and the wife. So they taught us how to do trauma healing, sharing stories and all this. And this is part of the trauma healing. Prayer is the key to healing. And this one, we taught them how to nail everything and submit every problem on the cross of Jesus. And we have Thursday in black. Every Thursday we wear black. Is World Council of Churches who asks us to do, and we are doing it and taking pictures like this. This is Bethany, President Jack, and this one from Church of the Brethren annual conference. This one, my board chair and the husband and part of our family. So this is when we went for in Colorado, so we took it. California, we saw this woman with black, so I said, okay, she was our guest there, host. So I said, today is Thursday, is black, so let us take picture and then put it, so she agreed. Some people, they don't agree, but I'm happy. So these are the livelihood center, tailoring, knitting, different things that we make, and in the livelihood center. This is computer training, and this is graduation. And these are all widows and orphans whose parents were killed or husband. And this is still the graduation. And in camp coordination, we went and we organized teaching to all the camp. We formed them into groups. And these are soldiers and police, so we teach them on security. So this one, peaceful demonstration on how to live on peace, and we said enough is enough. So my story a lot. I was captured by Boko Haram on my way to Chibok, but then they were kind enough, they released me. And so our future plan, Agape Center, we want to build a center where we will combine everything on the same compound. So we will build all this. We have 7 hectares of land layout, so we are planning to build all this. And this is the gate. This one will be the administrative block for SEPI, staff house, classroom, because we want to build secondary school where children will go in Jos, Nigeria, where it's relatively peaceful. Hall, multipurpose hall. We want to build trauma healing where we can bring children and women so that they will spend 3 or more months, so that we will bring professionals to help heal their trauma. And this is sample of student hostel, front view, rear view. It will be beautiful. And some of you will be teachers, some of you will go and be volunteer, isn't it? So, yes, medical clinic. We want to build a medical clinic there so that some will be treated well, especially those who are raped. And clinic, and then guest house. When you go, you will have somewhere to stay. And staff house. And okay, so how can you participate? You can make donation and support our different type of program. You can designate your donation to sponsor skill acquisition, family of widow for food, healthcare, etc. And I really appreciate this church and every one of you who come. So, so this is our contact. I'm still the SEPI US Executive Director, and our chair here, Pam Riggs, and her contact and address. And our treasurer is Dr. David Foss. And so if you are going to help SEPI, you will put SEPI US, and this is the address. You can send it to our treasurer, Dr. David Foss, and then he can deposit the money for us and send it to Nigeria. And so this is our website, www.sepus.org. But when you open it, we did not start the program here yet, but most of this program that I described, you will see it in detail on our website. Thank you. I'm sorry for taking too long.
No, wonderful. Thank you.
Just taking too many time now. I don't want to spend people's time.
You're fine.
Thank you for the patience. I will maybe talk about Bethany a little bit because I don't have time to talk about it because mine is long. Tomorrow you will.
I call it 5 years of bad news. I was elected 2011 to 2016, and all that 5 years is just story of dead and running and other things. But we are in Bethany presently, working there as international scholar in residence. Bethany Seminary has decided to extend its program across the whole world, uniting the whole of brethren across the world. And so I'm there to advise the seminary on some cross-cultural problem because they have established a tech center in Nigeria where students in Nigeria can attend class with Bethany while they are still in Nigeria. So, Brethren is really changing. The students at present at the seminary is not more than 10. So most of their students are online and on Zoom. So we can join a class across the whole world just on Zoom. So,
Wow.
and Bethany, as I see it, is going to be very important for connecting all the brethren across the whole world. So do not lose sight of Bethany, because it's going to be our center for unity in our global dream of global church. Thank you so much.
In being able to spend some time with them over the past 24 hours, some of the stories are just incredible. And what she doesn't share with you is stories like how some may question why serve the Muslim community. And it is in that serving, that showing that incredible selfless love, the love that Jesus taught us to love our enemies, that in ministering to them through their acts and through their behavior, not just through their words, right? What we do is how we love, right? Not what we say, but what we do. And that is exactly what they do. And out of that is the fruit of people that choose to leave their Muslim life, and join the life of Christ. And I have heard story after story that they have told, just in the short time that they've been with us, of how what they are doing has spoken into people's hearts and spoken into people's lives, that they look and see what they're doing and they say, I want that. And that I want to believe what you believe. I want to live what you live. I want to love like you love. I want to be loved like you are loved. And that, to me, is the incredible fruit of this labor, is that they are not just having temporary effect here on earth, which is important, but the effect that they are having is for eternity. And that is just incredible. I would love to invite you. We're going to have some desserts in the fellowship hall right after this service. If you're not familiar with our church, if you go out either of these two doors on the side and go through the hallway, you'll notice some stairs short bit of stairs that will go up. We have some cookies and some red velvet rolls and some chocolate rolls from Chesapeake Culinary Center and some drinks. Hopefully you will find some time during that to have a personal chat with possibly Dr. Samuel or Dr. Rebecca. Also, we did not plan on having a offering this evening, but I do want to share with you, because it is not lost on me that God gives the gift of giving to many of us. And so if you are touched this evening to provide a gift to SEPI and to the work that Dr. Rebecca is doing in Nigeria to reintegrate the women that are coming back from being kidnapped and taken hostage by Boko Haram, or any of those that are suffering under Boko Haram, please get in touch with me, and I will make sure that any checks that are made out, again, they go to CEPI, CCEPI, USA. I will make sure that those get to the treasurer, and that those funds make their way to Nigeria and the much needed materials and things that the people there are needing. Instead of a traditional benediction, I've asked Jim to lead us in a song, and I wanted to sing "Blessed Be the Tie That Binds," if we could, the first and the last verse, and allow that to be our benediction this evening. And again, as we're done, if you would, please stay with us and fellowship with us while we have some light refreshments. 421.
I think it would be good for you to stay.
Yeah.
I'm joking.